Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Nice to see you here today. As you can see on the screen, there is a new project called TradeMania. And once we reach the 1,000 followers, we're going to be publishing more information about what this is all about. You can find the link in the description for that, so please go ahead and check it out. Now, as you can see in the thumbnail for this video, there is something that I've already prepared for you guys that's very interesting. As you can see, we have our downtrend line here. And I've even displayed on the screen the EMA ribbons for you guys. These are the daily EMA ribbons. This is, of course, also our daily chart. And as you can see that every time the Bitcoin has tried to break out, there has been a strong resistance for the EMA ribbons, as you can see in these different places. Now, at this point, we were able to get over. And not only that, but we stayed above our EMA ribbons. Now we've gone back to retest these lines, and you can see that we had similar situations in the past where we always went back and retested the EMA ribbons, and we used them as support and we confirmed them as support. At the moment, as long as we stay here, and this is the first time that we've stayed above these EMA ribbons since December 3rd. And this is, of course, a very bullish sign for Bitcoin at the moment. As you can see, we are still in this area where there's a lot of volume in the market coming in. That's why this is the consolidation area for us at the moment. And so as long as we do manage to push the price above the important resistance of 44,357 US dollars, which is here for these daily candles, then if we do manage to do that and retest it, then we could make a very rapid move toward $48,000 in the next volume cluster. In fact, you can see here that there's not a whole lot of volume in this area, which is why there's very little friction. As you can see here in this drop that we had previously in the price was very quickly, and there was no accumulation in the volume, which means if we do manage to get over this resistance line, then the trip to 48,000 is will be very frictionless. Now, if we go and take a look at the 1 hour chart, we can see that this resistance line has become support rather. This is something that I showed you guys in yesterday's video. This is our accumulation phase here. And as you can see that once again, we were using this line, but this time we used it and confirmed it to be our new support. A lot of the gold members during the meeting, I did tell them that if we are able to find support in this area, that this would be a good place to open a long position. So a lot of them were able to take profit in this position. So obviously, this is a very good sign at the moment. Of course, the first resistance, as I already mentioned, is here at around 44,350. However, as you can see here, there's a lot of resistance here, once here, once here, once here again. So of course, for the price of Bitcoin today, has to be very important that we get over this price line so that we can confirm that we are moving in the right direction. And as you guys already know, yesterday there was an emergency meeting by the Feds, something that hasn't happened since 2008. And then after that, they raised the interest rates. So I assume that this time in March 16th, there's also going to be the same situation is going to repeat itself again. Now, fingers crossed, as you noticed yesterday, there wasn't really a whole lot of movement in the market, even though this special meeting took place. As you can see, we stay fairly even on our accumulation area here. And one can even say that we're playing this game all over again that we also had here in this other accumulation phase that took us, a couple of days before we got to see this pump towards the upside. And now we can say that we are repeating history once again a couple of weeks later. The question, of course, here is, are we going to go back and retest the resistance area here? My suggestion for those who want to trade is that you wait for the retest here before you actually open a long trade. Of course, make sure you do have a very small amount of risk below you. as a stop loss. And that's of course no direct financial advice to any of you guys. I am, however, going to talk to the gold members later today about go deeper into the analysis here and see what the next move could be like for trading here. If we now move over to the weekly chart, we can see that we don't really have a bad picture here either. As you can see, this red candle, which is sort of an inverted red hammer here, which technically would be a bearish sign, wasn't really confirmed, at least for now. The first couple of days this week have been relatively good. You can see the chart here gives you that impression at the very least. And the one thing, of course, to keep in mind at the moment is that we have to be careful. We have to pay attention to the news. Of course, the situation with Russia and Ukraine, there's rumors that the whole thing is sort of waiting until after the Olympic Games. I don't know, of course, and none of us want this to happen. But if it were to happen, then we could definitely expect a huge drop in the price, not just for the regular markets, but of course for Bitcoin as well. Another thing to point out on the weekly chart is that there is a very strong V formation that is taking place over here, where to take us to the 48,000 price line, then we could say that here was our bottom, and that technically we would still be inside our uptrend channel as well. So that is to say that at the moment things are looking relatively good. If we open our Fibonacci levels, we can also see that from the moment that the drop in the price started. So this has been playing out very well. If you see, we had our high here, we had our low here, and at the moment we are moving towards this area, which is exactly the resistance box that I just showed you a few minutes ago, which would actually be what the golden pocket for us will be. Once we get past that, then that should push the price to $48,000, which is also this line that I just showed you also in this video. So that is to say that every time that I put these lines, they are very important, and I'm not just making them up as I go. They do come from me analyzing all these different factors. Another thing we can have a look at is that we have used the 100 and the 200 EMA lines as support. And of course, we are moving towards the upside. So you do have to pay attention to the volume. That is very important because that lets you know how much support or resistance you do have in the market. Now, if we look at the Fear and Greed Index, we have 46 points for today, the same as yesterday, even though we did have a pump. And then another very important point is in the news, the American citizens can now go to the SEC and give their opinion regarding ETFs in general. And so, they can go on there and leave comments or suggestions or whatever. And what's interesting here is that about 95% of people were saying that they would be interested in a spot ETF. The thing now, of course, is that the SEC is under a lot of pressure. And Grayscale is, of course, one of the biggest providers of such ETFs. So that is the question: if they're going to keep pushing the ball down the road, or for next meeting, which would be in July of this year, if they would finally give us the spot ETFs that people want. Now, they applied for this already in October 2021. And, that's a lot of months before they get to hear what the decision will be. But the one thing for sure is that were this to come to be, then you can expect there's going to be a huge pump because there's going to be a lot of fresh capital that comes into the market. And that could take the price, of course, to, the $100,000 price for Bitcoin. Let me know in the comments what you guys think regarding this. And now let's go back and let's take a look at what Ethereum is doing this time. So let's go and take a look at the chart. And as you can see here on the 4-hour chart, we, just as with Bitcoin, we were able to have another pump, and we used this line and confirmed this line to be support, a very strong support for the price. which is also a very good sign. I mentioned this and talked about this line in the previous videos. And if we go and take a look into the daily chart, we can see that very clearly here, that if we do manage to push the price above $3,260, then that could definitely take us, to the next level, which would be, retesting this resistance line here. And if we leave it behind us, then we can say that the journey towards $4,400 is pretty much free also. We also have this inverted head and shoulders pattern here, as you can see. And if we are able to get out of our neckline here, which is this white line that I've just drawn on the screen, then the target price for a trade here would take the price to $4,311. So as you can see, these are very exciting times. And that's it for today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, you hit the notification bell. Also, leave your comments below, and make sure you do leave us a follow on our Trade Mania profile page for more information later. Also for BitBull, there are news. There's still 10 places available for anybody who's interested. And that's very much it. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day today. We'll talk later. Bye bye.